Good morrow, gentles all. 'Tis Shakespeare day, and we have come to Act 5. And we are really, at least in Macbeth's castle, we're now in hell. And this is the outdam spot scene. When last we left it, we have met our new heroes, Malcolm and Macduff, and they are in England, but marching north to Scotland with the English army that's been loaned to them, knowing that they will also gather Scottish forces as they get into Scotland, who will rally behind Macduff to take on Macbeth and storm his castle. And so we skip now to the castle, and we find that one of Lady Macduff's servants, a woman, has gone and gotten the doctor because she's worried about Lady Macbeth, who is up at night muttering to herself constantly, and they are spying on her, and they are very concerned. And the servant is saying that she sees her up at night all the time, muttering to herself, and is afraid for her sanity. And they overhear Lady Macbeth give this very famous speech called the Outdam Spot speech. And Lady Macbeth, she says a little bit of it, and then the doctor and the gentlewoman kind of comment on it, and then Lady Macbeth continues. Today I wanted just to read for you the speech that Lady Macbeth says. I'm not going to do all the other stuff because it gets comedic, so I'm going to kind of cut it together as I talk about it. So I just wanted to read it to you and then give you some thoughts. So this is what Lady Macbeth is doing. She's just wandering around a dark castle, and this is what she says. Out. Oh, and she is constantly, it looks like she's like miming washing her hands constantly. And the servant woman tells this to the doctor. This is one of the things that's freaking her out. She's constantly like trying to get something off her hands. So this is what she says. Out, damn spot. Out, I say. 1, 2. Why, then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier and afeard? What need we fear, who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What, will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all this with your startling. Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh. Wash your hands, put on your nightgown. Look not quite so pale. I tell you again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on his grave. To bed, to bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed. And she wanders off. And so what I think is very clear is that she is reliving the moment that they killed Duncan. She is worried about the Thane of Fife's wife, which is Macduff's wife, and we've seen her be murdered. So Lady Macbeth has deep suspicions on that one, although Macbeth won't tell her specifics. He's keeping all that from her. But I think that everyone kind of understands that this is the face of guilt. She is overcome and being driven insane by the guilt of her actions and of her husband's actions. And she's realized that she has fallen and has become monstrous and can't deal with it, and she's being driven insane. So I think this scene only works if we don't hate her. This is another argument where I think that a major mistake in the play is to make her out to be a man-castrating bitch. So you've got to be very careful with those earlier scenes we've already talked about, that she takes after Macbeth early in the play, but does not get the audience to hate her. Yeah, whoever's playing Lady Macbeth has to have the same eye toward whatever choices I make. I cannot have the audience flush me. I've got to keep them in my corner, even as I'm doing all of these difficult, horrible things. Um, it's the challenge of both roles, of Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, to do that. And we have to be able to feel for her. I would argue that the difference between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth is that Macbeth wants to think everything through in the beginning of the play, and he's very methodical, and he speaks to the audience about exactly what he's thinking and when he's deciding to do what he does, and he's trying to be very logical about it. And after he decides to kill the king, he doesn't look back. He doesn't question himself. He just marches straight into hell. And I think there's something kind of inspirational about that in a really dark way. At least that conviction and that clarity is one of the ways that I think Macbeth doesn't lose the audience. He's not always going, oh, I don't know if I should have done that. Whereas Lady Macbeth wants to just do the deed, the evil deed, quickly and then not think about it. We saw in an earlier scene how she's counseling Macbeth to stop, just listen, what's done is done. We did that, and we're just going to move forward now. We're not going to think about that anymore. But it doesn't work for her psychologically, and when she tries to sleep, she ends up, I don't know, sleepwalking or just wandering around the castle. It's the actress's choice whether she's sleepwalking or not. But obviously, just doing something horrible and then just compartmentalizing it and shutting it off and not thinking about it, that doesn't work. We all know that. And it's eating her alive. So if anything, Lady Macbeth's kind of weakness is a certain naivete about the cost of doing something horrific. I think Macbeth, because he's a soldier, has had experiences where he has learned how to do something horrific, which is, kill people on the battlefield. I'm sure after he killed his first person on the battlefield, he had a lot to deal with when he came home, and he kept doing it. So he the way he deals with it is make sure that he thinks he's right and has thought it through, that I'm going to do this thing that's going to be very difficult and it's going to give me nightmares, but I'm going to make sure that I've thought it through first, and then I'm not going to question myself. And I think Lady Macbeth is finding out that her way of dealing with it, which is just to do the thing and then stop thinking about it, doesn't work as well. But the main thing is that we should cry for her in a weird way. If the performance is strong enough, we should really feel for her as she is descending into insanity. We should see ourselves in her and be warned about doing things that we know are wrong and the cost to the perpetrator of doing things that we know are wrong. Because that's what the whole play is about the cost to the villain. And so that's it. A little bit shorter, 9 minutes, but I guess it's not that short, really. It's a short scene, but I babbled a lot. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll meet again next week.